Welcome to the Buckhouse Podcast, the realest podcast on the planet. We dive into marriage, motivation, social media, and everyday struggles nobody wants to talk about. No filters, just the truth. I'm one of your hosts, Benjamin Buckhouse, alongside Johnathan Buckhouse, as always. And I'm excited to get back into this groove of things. It's I'm not gonna beat around the bush. We kind of missed a couple episodes. And that's on me. I just kind of got wrapped up with life and everything. Johnathan was also very busy out in Oregon, doing his snowboard camp and doing a bunch of other stuff out there. So let's go jump straight into that, bro. Tell me what was going on in Oregon. Tell me about the whole trip. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, so I every year host a snowboard camp in Oregon, and in the past we would go out for the whole month of me doing my camp and stuff, and we took a little break from doing that when my daughter was. We did it the first year my daughter was born, literally. No, we did it 2 years. So she was born, and then we went when she was 3 months to Oregon for a whole month, and then the next year when she was one, we did it, and then my wife was like, "I need a break. I can't be going to Oregon with these little kids that they're just too little." I was like, okay. So they took a 2-3 year break of bringing the family out to Oregon. And then this was the first year we brought them back. We all went out and hosted my snowboard camp. Roman actually spent the first week with his grandma. And so it was just Bristol, me and Bobby out there doing the snowboard camp. And then Ben brought Roman to the airport. They got to spend some quality time together, which was awesome of you, bro. Thank you so much for doing that.
Dude, hanging out with Roman was a blast.
He was telling me all the stuff that you did with him and stuff, and so he was hyped to the little bit of time he got to spend time with you. And so then Roman came out, and then we snowboarded for another weekish, and then we went to the coast for 5 nights, which was a blast. We saw orca whales from the coast, which is in the area we were in is so not common, but we saw a pod of 4 orcas, so that was a highlight of that trip. Then we went back to the mountains, snowboarded for another week. I was supposed to be out there a little longer, but Bobby was over it. And what I've learned is, especially in something that challenging, when the wife is over it, don't force it. So we loaded up and we left and came home. And the nice thing is I can still snowboard here in Colorado till September 6th, I think, this year, because Copper does this hike train park thing, and they did a season pass for it, so that's super awesome. So as bittersweet as it was leaving Oregon, it's one of those things where it's hey, me and my wife were talking about it. We're hey, we don't have to go do this long time in Oregon like we have been doing, because now Copper Mountain has snowboarding. They used to do this hike park, and then it went away for 4 years, and now it's back. And so I was doing the camper, going to Oregon for so long to continue snowboarding, continue working. But it's hey, we actually don't have to leave. I'll still go do my snowboard camp, but then we can come back home. And then if we do want to go on a camper trip, we can go somewhere cool, somewhere new, somewhere east, start heading more east and not just the west, because we've taken the camper everywhere on the west. So it's maybe let's go see Mount Rushmore. Let's head over to the Great Plains of Kansas, or I'm joking. But on our way home, the leaf spring on my camper snapped, and my right side of my camper fell onto the axle. It's a single axle trailer too, so thank God we avoided disaster. It fell perfectly on the catcher and stayed put, and we didn't have utter disaster. We didn't roll it, we didn't flip, we didn't crash the car. These dang Colorado pothole roads. It's funny, you say one thing Colorado's got horrible roads, and then everyone's what about this state? What about this state? And it's even funnier when I drove through Wyoming, Utah, Idaho, and Oregon, and people in Oregon be don't come to Oregon, our roads. And it's dude, Oregon had the nicest roads. So did everyone but Colorado, dude. Colorado's got the worst roads.
Yeah, I've given up trying to I would say argue. I would never argue with people, but I talk about how inconsistent Colorado's weather is, because to tell you the truth, it really is just random stuff. The weather not only is just random, but it's also you could be 15 minutes away and it would be a drastically different experience in the weather. And just as an example of that is today is July 4th. So happy Independence Day, bro. Happy Independence Day. Shout out to everything that happened in 1776. Nah, but well, the reason why I'm mentioning this is 3 years ago. Shoot, how long ago was this? 3 years ago, I actually had a BMW. I was driving a BMW at the time, and I had it parked at my house. But Kirsty and I, my wife and I, we took her car and drove up to my sister's house, which was only about 15-20 minutes north of that. So we go 15-20 minutes north of that, and it was on 4th of July, and the weather was beautiful. We were enjoying barbecue outside, having so much fun. And sure enough, at my house, 15-20 minutes away, it was hailing, and it hailed enough to total out my BMW. So like, it's so crazy how drastic the weather can be in just such a short distance in Colorado and everything. But yes, Colorado roads are terrible. Something that happens in the springs a lot that drives me insane is that they'll put a bunch of manhole covers on like the right side of the lane. Like, it's not in the middle of the lane or anything like that. It's like on the right side where your right tires are going to be. And it's like, it's whenever you have that, like, just go into a different lane, because you're going to be driving for like a couple miles of just potholes on that right side of the lane, and it's just not worth it. But yeah, I've stopped like talking with people about like, oh, what Colorado's weather is crazy, or the potholes here are crazy, because everyone has their own opinion. Everyone's gonna say whatever they're gonna say, and it is what it is, you know.
So for content creation purposes, like that caption I purposely like pushed how bad Colorado roads were to engage the comments of people being like, no, Alabama's roads are way worse. Like, blah, 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 blah. So you can use it as a strategy, but yeah, arguing about something that, like, obviously every state has some roads that are just absolutely terrible. Colorado is just every road. But it's one of those things where you always got to pay your dues eventually. And I was thinking it on the trip. I was like, we kept seeing a couple RVs on the side. I was like, dang, like, we're lucky. We've never been like stranded. Like, something bad's never happened. And then, not that I jinxed myself, but you know, you're just aware of it. You see other RVs like pulled over, and like, God, it's gotta suck. That's gotta suck. Thank God it was in Colorado. We were an hour and a half from our house. We're in Walden, Colorado, when the leaf spring snapped. So we did have to tow it an hour, which was very expensive, to Kremling, but that put the camper 30 minutes from our house. Thank God Kremling has a big enough tow company to actually tow the rig, because, you know, not every place has tow trucks big enough to put a 21-foot travel trailer on top of their flatbed. And there was a shop who was way cheaper than anything up in Summit County, and I was able to fix the leaf spring, and they did it in like a day. Like, they did it super fast. But it happened close to home, which they always say accidents happen like pretty close to home. But good thing it didn't happen in like Idaho or like somewhere in Utah, because all of a sudden we would have to like stay in a hotel, and like it could have took, with 4th of July being today, you know, it could have took a lot longer for them to actually fix it, and we would have been like spending like a week in a hotel, or we could have left the rig and I could have like done a ton of driving. And after being in the camper for like, at that point it was like 25 days, we were ready to be home. So the fact that it's like, well, we gotta leave the camper here, but at least we get to go home. The only thing that was annoying is we couldn't pull everything we needed that we live, like, you know, like your daily necessities and things that you normally live with. We couldn't bring all of that with us because we just didn't. We put some necessities, and you forget, like, oh, I forgot that in the camper, and you're like, well, I guess we're gonna wait. And all of our food was in the camper too, so we just kind of like purposely made do with what we had. So eating just like cans of soup and things, and kids are like, I want snacks, and we're like, they're all in the camper, but we're not gonna buy new snacks, so like, this is what we have, figure it out. It was good. It was a good challenge.
That sounds like the correct mindset towards it, because I'll be honest, when I initially saw that you were like an hour away. Sorry, first time waking up in a while at this early to get ready for the podcast. But anyways, with the first time I saw that you were like an hour away from your home when this happened, I was like, that sucks. Like, are you kidding me? You were so close, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, this happens. Like, that's so frustrating. But at the end of the day, you're 100% right that it was like, no, fortunately, you were so close. That way, you didn't have to stay in a hotel. You didn't have to worry about that. You didn't have to drive back and forth so much. But then also, like you said, like, sure, towing it was expensive, but at the same time, getting it to Kremling to then get it fixed for cheap and everything, like, yeah, like, that is a way more ideal experience. So no, it's awesome. And I'm also really happy that you're able to find kind of like a happy medium of figuring out, oh, we don't really need to be gone for this long. With all things considered, you can figure out some stuff in Colorado, or even maybe even try a different trip, right? Because you've talked about doing like New Zealand before and things like that, and that does happen during our summertime. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like there's other opportunities than just packing your whole family up in a camper for 2 months and going out to Oregon. So that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited. That is also something I said to Bobby. It's like, hey, like, when you go spend a month in Oregon, even though you got your camper, you're saving money in some ways, you're still finding ways to spend money and trying to make the camper life super awesome. And sometimes, like, this might sound awful, but it's like appease everybody and make everyone happy in this tight little box so that what you're doing and stuff. Like, sometimes you throw money at things that, like, in your normal day to day you wouldn't. So it can be very expensive to be on the road for that long. I go snowboard for 2 days. Bobby stayed at the camper for 4 hours by herself with the kids. Obviously I come back and I like help out, whatever, but then by that third day she's like, I want to go shopping. I said, all right, let's throw some money at this, make her happy, and I'll go snowboarding on another day type stuff. Not saying that's just an example. It's not always what happened, but like you go to the coast we're from Colorado. We're not by the ocean, so we go to the coast. Well, what RV park are we going to stay on? The one that's by the cow pastures, or the one that's on the coast? I want to say the one at the coast. Well, that one's like a little more expensive to stay on, And then also we like never get to eat seafood from directly from the ocean. So like we ate out that entire time on the coast because we don't get to eat food like that in our normal life. And so also it's like, oh, we ate out 5 days in a row. We never do that. So it was good. All of it's good, but yeah, I think we could do shorter time in Oregon, or even like I think Bobby had, because she hasn't been back in like 3-something years. So like when she went, she got to like re-experience it, and she's like, "Hey, I really like Oregon. I love coming." She's like, "But we like played around the idea of maybe moving to Oregon," and she was like, "I don't want to live in Oregon." And I was like, "Good, because I don't want to live in Oregon." So like, it's just nice. It was the whole thing was awesome. It was what it needed to be. And I think in the futures going forward, like I'll still go out to Oregon, do my camps. I would love to bring them back to 2 weeks after having a very successful 1 week camp this year. Tons of people signed up. It was awesome. I would love to go back to 2 weeks, and then after those 2 weeks, come back home, snowboard here in Colorado, then take trips to, like you said, like Chile, New Zealand, Australia. Try the Southern Hemisphere. There's a lot of snowboarding down there that I've never experienced.
Yeah, gotta get more untouched audience out there and everything. But yeah, that's awesome, bro. I'm happy that you guys were able to experience this again and
now I didn't get to listen. Not to cut you off, sorry, but I didn't get to listen to your solo pod. But did you get a new job?
I did, and to be honest, I'm maybe using it as an excuse, but I'll dive into it. But that is one reason why I didn't do any more solo podcasts. Not saying that the job directly got in the way, but it's been a grind. It's been a lot. So I got a new job as a car salesman. And the reason why I wanted to go this direction is just to be able to provide more for my wife and I, just out of life in general, of just being able to make more money, get a house, pay off more debt on our right now we just have our cars. Like that's really what it is. So just like paying off stuff on our cars and things like that. Just try to just have a fuller life. And I know that life isn't just about money or anything, but like that's just immediately what we wanted to do to help out with our living situation, everything. So yeah, car salesman. That's my current job, and it's a lot. It's a lot. You work.
You get to now say you're a car salesman.
Yeah, I now get to say that, but no, it's a lot. You work on average like 55 to 60 hours on average, and it's tiring. It's tiring. You're on your feet a lot, which I've done that before, right? When I was working at Target, I was constantly on my feet. When I was working at Best Buy, I was constantly on my feet. But then, like when I went to Avis Budget renting cars, when you were only busy, I shouldn't say only, but like pretty much your business was when people were landing, when flights were landing, when people are arriving to the airport, and that makes sense. I worked at the airport. There's not a lot of people that go to the airport just to go rent a car. There really isn't. I would say like maybe 10 to 15% of our rentals were that, right? So like there's still people, but for the most part, it's just people flying in. So, when there wasn't people flying in, you would go and sit down and just wait at your desk until someone came up. Like that's just what you did. And then when they were there, you would stand. And then with my last job, being the front desk for the ABA therapy company, I pretty much only sat, right? So I'm a little out of my element of standing all day, so I'm getting used to that. I'm finishing up my second week. In the next 2 days, I'll be finishing up my second week doing the car salesman, and there's a lot of standing, which is fine. A lot of standing until you like are sitting down with the customer and like negotiating prices and everything like that. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's 100% commission. I do get like a learning period, so I am, that's how I'm getting paid for the time being. But what I've learned is like I have to be patient with this, in the sense that's like I'm not going to be making a boatload of money right away. But also I need to be aggressive with this at the same time. So this goes back to the book that we read going on 2 months ago, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Phenomenal book, but he is a salesperson, and he talks about the way that you get results is by putting 10 times the amount of effort in. And I've been putting as much effort as I can in, but I'm at a point where what it is you get leads, or like, just a lead is, potential buyer, right? A customer, somebody that's interested in a vehicle, yada, yada. So you get leads, and then you just call those leads. You get in contact with them. You send them emails. You send them videos. You find out what vehicle they were looking for. So they were looking for a Bronco or whatever. So then they looking for a Bronco with this price range, this color, this trim line, this mileage, whatever it may be. And then you go and look at your inventory, and you're like, okay, do we have something that fits their needs? And you're like, okay, we do. Okay, call them. Like, hey, like we have this Bronco in for you. I would love for you to come check it out. Whatever it is, right? Well, the problem is I don't have those leads, right? So the people I work with, they're working leads that they got a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. Like, they got these leads while they were working here for so long. So they have a lot of people to contact and a lot of people to do this and that. And I just don't have that purely because I haven't been here for long enough. So I've been posting some cars to Facebook, trying to get some leads there, which is like hit or miss, right? So people just click the button that's like, oh, is this available? And then they throw their phone into like the ocean, and you never hear from them ever again. So there's that. Or, I did get a lead from one of our lead generators, and it was like a guy in California, and like that's always fun because you can't get him to come in or anything. So, I'm figuring it out. I talked with my manager, and actually today, we're going to be, I'm going to be spending time with our like phone department and just trying to get some leads there. So I'm excited because like sounds boring and everything, but at the same time, like I want those leads. I want to work. I want to make as many phone calls as I can in a day. I want to have as many people to contact, and like that's what I want. So, if I have to sit in an office and be bored out of my mind, like I'll do it. Like that's what I need to do. But I was also saying this, and if you haven't caught on, once again, today is July 4th, and I do have to work today. So, going back to kind of not retail, but like a customer service job, I work Saturdays. I have Sundays off because in the state of Colorado, you cannot sell cars on Sundays. And then, what else is there? Like you work some holidays. Pretty much the only days I have off are Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. Those are the only days I have off. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to that. But at the same time, like goes back to if that's how you make money, that's how you make money. I'm sure Johnathan is going to do some work today, whether it's editing a full-length video or just doing some shorts or whatever it may be. But although it's 4th of July, he's still going to get some work done. That's just the reality. So,
Yep, there's always work to be done in social media. Sadly, the weather is not that great today, so we wanted to like go play on the lake, go do a bunch of stuff, but sadly, it's just like it's kind of blah weather. So we might kind of like hold our festivities until it gets nicer, and then kind of just grind today.
That's such a bummer for the kids and everything, because I'm sure that they're still always looking forward to fireworks, and I know how important the holidays are for Bobby on the actual day and everything. But yeah, no, for me, 4th of July hasn't been very eventful the last couple of years, just as I get older, but also like our dogs get so afraid of the fireworks. So, I love the day, but at the same time, like I don't, spend the night watching fireworks or anything like that. But yeah.
So we usually been going out of town for 4th of July, like to Texas or something. We actually get to like light fireworks and stuff, which was cool. But this year we're back in Colorado, and Summit County used to do a really impressive fireworks show, but they stopped. And then with the fire danger of living up in the mountains and stuff, like we can't do our own fireworks. Like the last thing I'm gonna do is like start a fire in my neighborhood. So it's like when we're in Colorado, it's like, like 4th of July is just not that rad being in Colorado. Kremling, which is like where my camper was, because it's fixed now. They do a fireworks show, so we're contemplating maybe driving over that way. But yeah, for the majority of the day, it's like currently raining. It's like gonna be like 60 and raining like almost all day. So it's like meh. But maybe we'll go out to Kremling. But I will say, bro, I know you really liked that job that you were doing prior to the car salesman, and I fully understand. Like, you want to level up. You're trying to get a better housing situation. Sometimes like you have to either, not saying that you don't want this car salesman's job, you could actually, like you could find a lot of purpose in it and fall in love with it and everything like that, but I know you found a lot of purpose in your last job. And on our end, like I really love this house that we're in, but my wife doesn't, and so we're very actively looking to go somewhere else. And so to fit everyone's needs, not just my needs. So like sometimes you got to make sacrifices or changes for yourself, for the family, and the I guess the hardest thing is to just find the purpose or joy in the next step.
Yeah, I loved my last job, and I'm going to say some stuff, and I don't want it to come off as me talking bad about it, because I really am not talking bad about it. It's just a reality of the job. So once again, I was the front office gentleman or manager, whatever you want to say, for a ABA therapy company. ABA therapy is it's called applied behavior analysis, and it's to help kids with behaviors that they may have, ranging from extreme behaviors of being aggressive or self-injurious, or even just having saying stuff at the wrong time, right? Like kind of like social behaviors, things like that. But you particularly worked with kids with autism, and it was the most humbling experience I've ever had of being in that environment. And it really opened up my eyes to kids with autism. And I never judged them. I never felt like, I don't know, like I was never mean or had ill will towards any of them, but it was more so like I just was very ignorant to the spectrum and kids with it and things like that. And I didn't have a lot of experience with it. So it was a completely different environment for me. And being there, like, dude, it was just so humbling. And like you get to meet these kids, and a lot of them are like very far on the spectrum, and they're nonverbal. And like when you look at them, you would would not expect a lot from them, but like they fully understand what you're saying. Like they really do. And they just, can't communicate with you and things like that, or their brain processes things in a completely different way. So, it was very humbling, and like, it's just amazing. And like seeing the kids grow, right? Like seeing kids go from being nonverbal to then like start saying words to you, or like start enunciating things. It's like it was great to see. And so like I loved my job, but I also sat there and I wanted to grow. That's something I've done in every job of mine. I've always wanted to grow one way or another, whether it's make more money by being in sales, or progress up the ladder of being in management, or whatever it may be. And with my job, there wasn't a lot of paths to take. If you were an actual therapist, there was a lot of growth, because there's like levels to the therapies, like as you learn and get certified more and things like that, so you get pay raises and things like that. And I'll be honest, like I guess you could say this is me talking bad about them to a certain extent, but I tried to become a therapist, but they just kept pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off, and that was very frustrating. Especially like I had a bunch of free time at one point, and I was like, hey, I would love to take the courses and learn how to do this, and they just like never got back to me, and their excuses were not valid in my opinion. So it is what it is. But beyond that, in my actual role on the administration side of things, there wasn't a lot of growth. So I had been with the company for 9 months, and there's very few job opportunities above my position, because at my location there wasn't anyone really above me. The next step above me would be at a different location, which is fine, but it's like the scheduling coordinators. Well, they've been doing their job for years now, or it'd be the insurance side of things, which once again, those people have been doing it for years now. Like they weren't like leaving anytime soon, which is fine. But the problem was like a job opportunity did open up for the insurance side of things. And like, I wasn't even aware that the opportunity opened or anything like that. All of a sudden it got filled, and I was like, okay, so like I didn't even get the opportunity to learn more about it or anything. So there's that. But also, to be fair, like the position would be a lot of learning for me, and I'm okay with that, but it was like a little above me. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know a lot about the insurance side of things, but it still would have been nice to been like offered that or anything like that. But anyways, there's just not a lot of growth opportunity. So it was in that situation where I was like, I'm not growing here, and I don't see any growth coming anytime soon. And in order for me to make more changes in my life, and with like my wife's life and our life and everything, I need to find something different. And I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but like I love cars. I just love looking at them. I love looking at modifications on them. I love being inside them. I love driving that. Like I love cars. I particularly like off-roading type vehicles. I don't necessarily like your sports cars or even muscle cars, right? I'm not a big Mustang guy or anything like that. But yeah, I love cars. So there's that. I'm also pretty good with customer service. I like them. I'm actually, I'll just be blunt about it. I'm really good with customer service. I've always been known about that. Like I'm really good with my customer service, and that's important here, but it's also like you have to be a good salesman. I would say I'm overall a pretty good salesman. I'm not the best salesman. And I want to get there. I got to work on it. I'm not saying I can't be. It's just like, that's an area I need to work on. But when it comes to customer service, I'm pretty freaking good. So, this is going to be an environment I really like. There's some stuff that I do like about it. There's some stuff that I'm like still learning to accept, such as it was about 10 minutes away from leaving for my shift. 10 minutes from leaving for my shift, I was texting my wife like, hey, what do you want to do for dinner? Yada, yada. She was like, yeah, let's do this. You want to go for a walk tonight? I was like, yeah. It's like making plans for the night, right? I'm leaving in 10 minutes. So we're making some plans. All of a sudden, my manager, without asking, gave me an appointment for 6:30, which is like it's 6:30. So an hour after my scheduled clock out time. And of course, I was like stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I'm like, I'm not actually like, he gave me a customer, and like that's hard to come by. So like, why am I going to complain about this? But it was also just like he randomly gave me that. So like, like that's frustrating, because I was already making plans. But it is what it is. So I ended up staying for this appointment for 6:30, so a whole hour. Well, the person didn't show, and when they don't show, it's not like you just leave right away. you give them a grace period. So I gave them a call 30 minutes prior to the appointment, left a voicemail. They didn't answer. I gave them a call 30 minutes after and was like, hey, like, you didn't come, but like, I hope to catch you another time. So I stayed a whole hour and a half extra just for no reason. Like, for the chance to help a customer, but they never came in. And then since then they've ghosted me and never said anything. So it's frustrating because like it's hard to complain about the opportunity to have a customer, because that's what you need to rely on, is like opportunities, and take advantage of opportunities when you get them. But like in that moment, it was frustrating because once again, like I was already planning my night with my wife, and then that entire plan got thrown out the window, and I ended up working, almost or an 11-hour day at the end, right there. So it's a little frustrating, but at the same time, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, when you're getting paid for only cars sold too, it's got to be brutal. There was a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, sorry.
But being in a job with no growth, I mean, eventually that's what happened with Target. It's like I got literally as high as I could that they would let me get without a degree. And I was like, hey, I'm definitely ready for the next step. Definitely was ready for the next step. But they wouldn't give it to me because I didn't have a degree. And I'm like, I'm so educated in Target. Why does this degree freaking matter? And they would not let me promote because of it. So I had to move on. I had to go somewhere else, which was good because it forced me to, go out of your comfort zone. But then also like I knew like, okay, I'm gonna take this next job, but the goal is to do YouTube. So like I took like a bridge job in order to be able to do what I really wanted, which was to snowboard for a living. And so I as much as it sucks to change jobs and learn something new or whatever, like at the same time, doing something new is exciting. It is fun to have that new job, that new routine, figure it out. And sales is like one of the best ways to make good money is to become a salesman, whether it's cars or real estate or whatever. Like if you can figure it out, which I have full faith you can, because you do have great customer service. You can figure out the salesman aspect of it. You'll do great. And there are some good books out there for it. I think one's called like Sell or Be Sold is a book on sales, and like there's just a bunch of them out there. Yeah, just put your head down, bro, and grind it out, and you're gonna kill it.
Yeah, I'm there is worry, but not necessarily in a bad word. Like I don't know, like I'm not worried, but I am worried. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not worried that I'm not going to do well. Like I know I'm going to do well. I know sales because I was at Best Buy. I worked at Best Buy and I was a top salesman there, selling computers. And then I was also a top. So renting cars, you like upsell your customers, right? Try to get them to do this or that, or like get a new vehicle or add insurance or whatever it may be. And I was a really good salesman there. Like I know I'm good at sales. It's just that there's some like my managers, you can just tell like they are car salesmen. Like that's what they are. They're really good car salesmen. So I can still learn a lot from them, and I'm excited. There's a lot of training opportunities. We have a corporate trainer who I've met her, and she's intense, and she's real. It's like she's essentially not afraid to like call you out. Like she's not going to take your excuses or anything like that. She's going to salesman you, right? She's going to get past your objections and figure out really why you're not being successful, right? She's going to figure it out and she's going to help you. And so I'm super excited to be working with her, and I've got like a full week training course with her coming up. I don't know exactly when that is, but so like I'll sit down and actually like be in a class and like really learn. So I'm super excited. I really am. I'm super excited. It's just one of those like I need to get as many customers as possible, and I'm gonna commit to posting some stuff on social media this weekend of like some like cheesier stuff or whatever, but just trying to bring a fun environment to the social media to try to get some attention there. Even if I get 2 or 3 cars a month from that, like that still is huge, right? So just got to work every avenue I can. And then also like you can't just be BSing with your friends or your people at work, and that's like a big thing when it comes to car sales, because like to be a good salesman, you have to be personable, you have to be likable, you have to be able to be witty and funny and stuff like that, right? So the people you work with are really really fun people to be around, but at the same time like you can't get too wrapped up in that. You have to be outside waiting for, and as soon as a customer walks up to the door, be like, hey, can I help you? Like, what are you looking for? Otherwise someone else is going to do it and beat you to it. Right. So you have to try to take advantage of every opportunity, and you just got to be there for everything. So yeah. It's
one of those things too, where you can't get too locked in on someone that like when you're in sales, you know when there's like people that are interested and they do want to buy something, and then there's some people that like they're not going to buy, like you don't even waste your time. And I mean, it's hard it's hard to explain, because some people say like, oh no, you can definitely get anyone to buy, but I remember just because when I worked at Target, I did the electronics department, and like TVs was a big one, like selling people televisions, and sometimes like you had to really sell them a TV, like you want this one, it's 4K 120 hertz, blah, blah, like, and you just like the color of this, the OLED lights, blah, 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 all the junk. And then other people, they like come up and they were asking, like, tell me about this TV, tell me about that, and you're just like, I know you're not gonna buy this, like I you're not here to buy, you're just here to like, I don't know, get out of my face.
Yeah, there's a funnel when it comes to buying, and there's very few times where you can take somebody from the top of the funnel and bring them to the bottom, but it's essentially like there's like a researching phase where you're like just learning about what car, what you're wanting to buy. Then there's like the looking phase where you might go do some test drives or just look at some TVs or whatever it may be. Then there's like this serious portion where you're like, okay, let's start looking at the numbers, like try to look at the finances, and then there's like the actual buying, right? There's very few times where you can take somebody that's like, oh, I'm just doing some research, to then like, oh, I bought a car today. There's very few times where you can do that. But to be honest, there's so many variables to that, because it depends on, is the customer willing to do that? Like, is the customer like, they already figured out the finances, and you just like, they were just thinking that they're doing research, but all of a sudden they met you and you did all the research for them? Or are they kind of like dumb enough to just take that leap of faith? Or are you that good of a salesman to do that, right? So like, there's so many variables to taking them from like step 1 to step 5, right? But yeah, it's as a salesman, it's kind of your job to like meet them, and in a very, not like direct, but like very creative way, try to figure out like, okay, are they gonna buy a car today? And for me, there's like a worksheet I have where I get their information, I get the car that they're interested in, whatever it may be, and I essentially have to have them sign. And it's not saying signing that you're buying this car, but it's more so, it literally says like, if the terms are agreeable, like if the numbers make sense, you will buy the car today. Like, I have to get them to sign that, and then I can get my managers involved and be like, okay, they're serious about this. Okay, now let's go ahead and start talking about negotiating and credit applications and all. Like, literally, it's like, I have to make sure that they are gonna buy a car today before I even start doing anything else. So many people come in and they're like, can you do an appraisal on my vehicle? I'm just looking, but I want you to spend 30 minutes trying to figure out how much my car is worth. Like, no, we're not gonna do that unless you're gonna buy a car today. Like, that's just the reality. So but yeah,
that makes sense. It's funny because I'm such a different consumer purchaser. Like, when we got the Expedition, like, I don't say it's also Bobby, but we did so much looking into like the Expedition, what we wanted, like with the tow package, all that type of stuff. So like, literally, then when we found the vehicle, which was in Kansas City, I like literally just wrote the dealership and said, hey, I'm coming on Thursday to buy this vehicle. It's just like, instead of like showing up, like, all right, show me 6 cars or this, like, same thing. Like, we were like looking to upgrade the camper, and I like wrote probably like 6 camper dealerships, like, hey, I want to buy this camper at this price, I want to trade mine in for this price, and then no one accepted my deal, so I didn't do it. But it's just like, I'm not gonna like go get be salesman, if that makes sense. It's like, I know what I want to do. If you're not willing to do it, then it's fine, I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I'm also not like, I'm not a traditional consumer, and I've always known that though, because like, it was something that we learned at Target was end caps, right? It's as simple as you think. The end of the aisle, there's like a little small section, right? It's the end cap. It caps off the end, right? That is where a ton of sales come from. Johnathan may remember the number, but it's literally like 25% of sales or something like that come from end caps. And so they're very important to businesses. I, as a consumer, have never bought something off of an end cap unless it's like that's the only location that the item's at, right? That's the only time I'll ever buy something on a cap. Otherwise, like, no, I just go, like, I know what I need, and I go to the aisle and I grab what I need, and then I leave. Like, I don't fall for these like eye-catching things. So yeah, like, I'm not a very traditional consumer. And then when it comes to the sales side of things, like buying a car or something like that, usually it's like I know what I want, and I go and look at it, and I'm like, yep, that's what I want, and then just try to talk with the numbers or whatever. But
the issue too that happens that like a lot of people fall prey to is the like, well, what do you need for your monthly payment? Like some people like, oh, I really want to get this car, and this car is $30,000, and like, well, if I was to do like a 12-year loan or whatever amount, it's like, oh, it's going to be like $600 a month, and you're like, well, I can't afford that. And then the salesman's going to be like, well, what's a monthly payment you can afford? And all of a sudden they're like, well, I could do like $350. And so then they go and they're like, same car, no longer the same price, because now the price is skyrocketed, because they're going to be like, all right, this is a 72-month loan. So now all of a sudden you're accruing interest set up for 12 years. I said months or whatever, but like, say like they extend the length of the loan to lower the monthly payment, but you end up paying exponentially more for this car because you're paying interest for so many more years. And it's just like, it's sneaky. Not to call you sneaky or scummy, bro, but like, you gotta, like, as a consumer, especially when it comes to like vehicles or things like that, you gotta know what you're going in for and what you want, what the price you want it for, and then not worry about like that monthly payment amount that you can afford, because you can really screw yourself by just only focusing on how much you're paying monthly.
No, call me biased, but I don't necessarily think it's scummy, because like it's just so what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out what's important to the customer. So to some people, it's the monthly payment. To some people, it's like, hey, this is what I can afford to do every single month. And yeah, they're going to end up paying more for that vehicle. But it's like, if you need a car and you can only afford $350 a month, hey, we can do that. It's going to take you longer to pay it off, and you're going to have higher interest. But if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do, right? There's other people that are...
Or you could buy a cheaper car.
Well, like in the reality we live in nowadays, it's very difficult to find a car, or especially like an SUV, under $400 a month. It's almost impossible. Like, that's just not, with like current day prices, current day interest rates, things like that. Like, yeah, like finding a $350 car.
Tell me about it. I'm looking for a house.
Exactly. But anyway, I'm not trying to like.
It's impossible to find.
I'm not trying to be like a biased person here, but like the point is that you have to find out what is important to the customer. To some people, it's the out the door price. How much am I paying for this vehicle other than interest? Like, out the door. How much am I paying taxes, fees, blah, blah, blah. How much am I paying for? Then there's the people that care about their monthly payments. They're like, I don't care how much the vehicle really is. Yes, I want it to be cheaper, but it's like, I don't really care how much the vehicle costs. I care about how much I'm going to spend every single month, because that's what's important to me. Other people, it's, hey, I want to get X amount for my trade-in. And then when you hit them with the actual trade-in value, they get offended because they think that their car is worth so much more than it actually is, right? Especially if they owe on the vehicle, then it's like a whole train wreck. But yeah, it's your job to find out what's important to the customer. And to a lot of people, it is that monthly payment. And it's because, they don't fully understand interest or anything like that. But also, that it goes down to like, I need a car, right? Like, what somebody just told my car, I need a car. This is what I can afford every single month. And at the end of the day, like, do I want to pay it off for 6 years? Not really. But if that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. Right. So.
You ain't selling me, bro. I ain't doing it.
I'm not. I mean, if you want to get a new Expedition, just let me know, because I can help you out. But no, it depends on the person. And it goes back to like, I was a top Best Buy credit card salesman, and Sarah would rag on me all the time. Our sister would rag on me all the time. You're just putting people in debt. And reality, like, no, reality is this: if somebody like Johnathan, I know that you're not in this situation, bro, but it's like if you are doing YouTube full time, and let's say you're up and coming, right? And your job involves a computer. You need a computer to edit your videos. Finances are tight, let's just say, right? I said somebody like Johnathan. I'm not using Johnathan as the example. It's just if you're in a position where you're a social media manager, you're this or that, you need a computer. Well, guess what? Your computer that you've had for the last 3 years just crapped out on you. You don't have enough money to buy a new computer. Okay, sounds good. Like, I'm sorry that's the situation you're in right now. There's this Best Buy credit card that you can finance the computer over the next year for 0% interest. Is that something you're interested in doing? That's going to get you the computer you want. Yes? Okay, let's do it. That's why I sold credit cards. I wasn't selling credit cards to be like, oh, you've never bought, you're new to credit. Let's go ahead and screw your life over and put you in crippling debt. Like, no, that's not why I was doing it. I was doing it to help people. And that's the same thing when it comes to like the, like what they're interested in. If they need, I just helped a lady the other day that was getting out of a lease. We had to downsize her vehicle. We found a vehicle that fits her needs, that wasn't a piece of junk, but still reliable and cheap enough and all that stuff. And what was important to her? Monthly payments. That's all that was important to her. Monthly payments. So that's what you got to sell them on. You got to find the vehicle that fits their needs, their wants, and their payments. That's what you got to do.
Well, you know what I need and I want? I need a Baja.
A
Subaru Baja.
Dude, one of our dealerships just got one.
Favorite vehicle.
One of our dealerships has one.
Is it yellow?
No, it's not yellow. I
think
it's white. I can probably find it for you real fast, but
it's got to be yellow.
But no, bro.
Now me and Bobby were talking about. Let's go. We're just trying to get a house, and it's okay.
So you want to get a Baja?
Well, so Bobby's car is almost paid off, and it was like, well, if we sold the FJ, because the FJ, I could probably sell it for very close to what I purchased it for. And then pay Bobby's car off for selling the FJ, and then buy a Baja with the remainder. It's like,
well, bro,
I still get a vehicle that I like.
I've got
I don't want to sell the FJ, so we'll figure.
I've got a silver 2003 Subaru Baja for $11,000. Just let me know when you want to make the numbers make sense.
11, get that out of here. That's too much.
It's a rare vehicle, bro. You want a rare vehicle?
No, I don't want vehicles that hold their value because they're special and ugly. Nothing's better than making an ugly vehicle cool.
Dude, I love ugly vehicles. I've always loved ugly vehicles. But yes, you could probably sell your FJ for... You could probably make money on your FJ, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Which is sick. I'm so happy that I bought something that held value.
Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to say, if you guys are in the Colorado area, especially Colorado Springs, and if you're looking for a vehicle,
get out of here, get out of
bro.
here.
We get to talk about you all the time.
Hit up Ben for a car, guys. You need a car. He'll get you that monthly payment you need.
I'll help you guys out. I really will. I'm in the customer service. That's what I told you guys. I'm a great customer service person, so I'm here to help you out. But anyways,
he needs leads.
I need leads, but
he needs leads.
Phil Long Ford in Motor City. That's where I'm at. I can sell you used, new.
Oh, you're working in Motor City.
I'm working in Motor City at Phil Long Ford. And like I said, just.
Is that a long drive from your new apartment? Because you guys also swap apartments.
That's another thing, guys. Like, I'm so sorry about missing the last 2 weeks, but my life has just been upside down, and I'm working like 60, 70-hour work. Like,
have you already moved?
No, not moved yet, but just having to deal with like packing and all that. But no, so it's about 20 minutes from my current place, but it feels far less of a drive. It doesn't feel that long, but it's about 20 minutes from my current place, which at the end of the day, my last job was 25 minutes away from my workplace, so it's literally the same. When I move, though, it will probably be still in that ballpark because I'm not moving too far. I'm moving about 5 minutes away from where I currently live, but yeah, we'll see. But once again, where the money's at, that's where I'm gonna go. So, yeah. But I can also sell.
It's a much nicer.
What? Go ahead.
Apartment, right?
Much nicer apartment.
New apartment.
Much nicer apartment. So the current apartment that we're in is probably like a 35-year-old apartment. Like, I don't know exactly when these were built or anything like that, and it's not that I'm so set on like when something was built, but with it just has a older design to it, right? Then where there's already older features, but like at least it has AC, which is a huge thing. It's a huge thing for my wife and I, and I know that some people get over that, but no, like AC is super important to us. So like it has AC. It is a 2-bedroom, so we got my office in here, and then our bedroom in the other room. It's got a nice big living room, but like the kitchen is very small and it's not open to the living room, so it's just not as modern of a feel. But the other thing is like it has amenities such as a indoor pool, an outdoor pool, a hot tub, a gym, but the gym was pathetic. No, pretty much no free weights. It had some cable machines. Well, the cable machines are broken, and then like the treadmills and bikes that they have are super old. And I was on a bike, and literally like the trailer just dropped on me one day, and it was super sketchy. So like gym is kind of sketchy. Then the hot tub was closed from August of last year until like March of this year. So we went the entire winter without being able to access our hot tub. So it's like, what's even the point of having these amenities if we can't even use them? The indoor pool stopped working last week, and they just haven't been able to do anything with it. And then normally our outdoor pool is supposed to be open on Memorial Day. Well, it's been closed since last year, and they haven't said anything about it. So we just haven't had a pool, and it's been like beautiful, and it's very frustrating. So we're just ready to move. That's what I'm getting at. Well, the apartment that we found was built maybe like within the last 10 years, like 5 to 8 years, maybe in that range. So a lot more modern. It has like a open kitchen to living room concept. It's about 400 square feet bigger. It has a in-unit washer and dryer, which our current one doesn't. So that's going to be huge for us. It's actually going to save us a lot of money also. It has 2 year-round pools. Not saying that they're not going to break. Like pools can break, similar to what we're dealing with right now, but it's more so far less likely, right? 2 year-round. So we don't have to worry about them like opening, closing, stuff like that. It's got 2 outdoor hot tubs, and the gym is really nice. Has a bunch of free weights and has a bunch of cable machines, things like that. So we're super excited. And what's crazy is like it's literally gonna cost us maybe an additional $100 a month, at the end of the day. And once again, that's like for 300 square feet more. Still a 2-bedroom. It has an additional bathroom, an in-unit washer dryer. Like there's so many benefits going there. But yeah, we move in about a month, and so just packing, getting rid of stuff, dealing with all that. It's just a lot. So life's been crazy.
I get it. Me and Bobby are making moves for trying to purchase a home. I guess it's not really a home; it's a mobile home. So the Summit Cove, our trailer park,
I know what you're talking about.
Is like the
Where
only
Jesse
thing
used to live.
that's within our budget. But there's this like, so Bobby's dying living so far away from the kids' school, so she wants to move closer to the kids' school because to get to Roman's school, it's a 30-minute drive. So to take Roman to school and come home, it takes an hour, and it doesn't sound like that miserable. But when it's like I went snowboarding and my day ended at 2, but Roman gets out of school at 4, there's no reason for me to drive all the way home to then drive Barty back and get him. So all of a sudden I'm sitting in the car doing a bunch of work, and it's a lot. Where if we were to move to Summit Cove, you're going from a 35-minute drive to a 2-minute drive type situation. So we get a lot of time back in our life, but also like living in Summit County, like, it'd be nice to own something. And in the reality, like I could have bought one of these trailers for like 40 grand like 6 years ago, and now they're selling like the same exact trailer I could have bought for like 40 grand, or selling for like $270,000. Just crazy.
Wait.
Well, they're
cheaper now?
No, they're expensive. $40,000 to $270,000.
Oh, 40. Okay. I thought you said
this is a trailer. Most trailers go down because they're considered like RVs essentially. So normally like a trailer park trailer would decrease in value, like they don't increase. But in this magical mountain world of uniqueness that we live in, they increase in value.
I thought you said 400,000 to then 200. I was like, but got it. 40 to now 220. Okay, got it.
40 to 270,000. So I could have bought one for 40,000 when I was working at Target. And my mom, sometimes like you listen to your parents' advice, and then in hindsight, you're like, why was like my mom doesn't know anything? Like, why did I listen to my mom? My mom's like, don't buy that. They'll raise the lot rent on you, which the lot rent has gone up since then. It's only been gone up like $200. It's like, but the house went up 200,000. Like, it's in hindsight, you know, it's like, ugh. But this whole rambling is going to, there is this. So at the trailer park, there's lots, but in the mountain one, there's like the lot sizes vary. Like they're not like every lot's 60 by 100. It's like they're all kinds of sizes and stuff. Well, there's this trailer that's for sale that is like a lot cheaper than all of the other neighboring ones, but it's like small, beat up, gross. But it's on a massive lot. So me and Bobby are hypothetically looking into buying that trailer, scrapping it, and putting a brand new one on there. And the craziest thing is it would be cheaper for us to buy 2 homes, completely destroy one of them, get rid of it, put a brand new one in the spot, than it is to just buy a home.
This is why I need to make more money. This is why I need to make more money, just so I can even buy the first home to destroy and build a second home. But
you know, it sucks, but at the same time, like once again, we live in a unicorn mountain area where it will the property should increase in value like a normal home, not like as fast as a normal home would, but it's kind of our only option. Like we just cannot afford a house up here, or like even if we can't afford it, it's absurd. And so it's like, I don't know. Once again, I love where we live. I love having the backyard park and the long driveway and being out in the middle of nowhere. But like, I have a partner, and I also have to make my partner happy too. So I'd still be in the mountains. I still get to go snowboarding and make her life a lot easier when I go traveling. All these opportunities of traveling the world are presenting themselves and showing up. So I want to keep taking those. You know, it's really hard when I disappear and now Bobby's doing all the driving, being way out of town all by herself. Like, you know, it is what it is. And we would actually be increasing our square footage that we live in by like 400, 500 square foot. But that includes that's me counting this garage as part of our living area because we have a gym in there. And so technically the house we get a lot bigger, almost 700 square feet.
I don't want you to belittle your what you said earlier about the drive time, but dude, that drive time's brutal. Like an hour just to take him to school and everything, that is brutal. So no, that is important. Get yourself taken care of. You know, and it'll probably save you money on gas. It's a lot of wear and tear on the cars, wear and tear
and the gas. Yeah. So, and it's one of those things it's one of those things. In order to get the kind of dream house that I want, or to get, you know, everyone has oh, I want to have this type of living situation. I love to own what I currently am at, but in order to get what we currently have, we have to in a way work our way up. You know, get a starter home, sell the starter home, move up a little bit. You know, chip away, going up. I'm not just gonna get enough AdSense money to purchase a multi-million-dollar home up in the ski resorts of Colorado.
That's not how it works.
YouTube ain't paying like it used to.
No, I'm super happy for you, bro. I'm super happy for the movements that you're making. I'm super happy for the movements I'm making. But I do think that we need to start wrapping up the podcast.
We gotta wrap it up with our books.
I'm gonna be honest, I've not finished. I should have, but finished the 4-season solution. I got out of rhythm. So like I said, I'm excited to be back to podcasting and everything like that. Because
get on it. I finished it.
Dude, I'm about halfway, to be honest. I need to get on it. So we'll jump back into that here soon.
We'll start the next episode with the 4 seasons. It gives Ben a week to finish the book.
A whole week.
And then the next book we're into is How to Invest $50,000 to $5,000. The Small Investor Step-by-Step Plan for Low-Risk Investing in Today's Economy. I think this is going to be a pretty basic investment book. But I have some investments and things like that. But I was like, I want to kind of get going into it. I have read investment books in the past, but I don't know. I was just like, this one seems good. It's pretty cheap. And so this is the one we're starting with, or this is the first financial book that we've done. So we did like a grindy, work your butt off book with the 10X rule. Then we did the 4 Seasons, which is a health and wellness, like physical, mental, spiritual, all the seasons of life, how to live life book that Ben recommended. Now we get into finances with how to invest your first $50,000 to $5,000.
I'm super excited, and I'm sorry that I'm a little delayed on the books. Shadow's ready to get going as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm super excited to be back in the groove of things. I'm super happy that you're back, bro. But yeah, thank you guys for
good to be back.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of the conversation down below. Thank you guys for being you. Thank you guys for growing with us. Thank you guys for staying with us this whole time. Yeah, got anything else to say, bro?
No, it's good to be home. It's good to be back in a routine. It's grind time. It's time to set up for another year of awesomeness. Oh, by the way, we're halfway through the year.
Yes, halfway through the year.
July is halfway through the year. I hope you're crushing your goals.
Working on it.
My big calendar has definitely kept me motivated, and it's crazy to see that half of the year is already filled in. So
nice.
Get a big calendar.
Link down below. All right. Peace.